Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to TeloYouth Wednesday educational webinar. We have Dr. Chris and Dr. Tina on the line. They have a combined 60 years of experience as naturopathic practitioners. They are internationally renowned educators and speakers, and most importantly, they are the formulators of our incredible products, Surround Serum and TeloYouth. Good morning, Dr. Chris, Dr. Tina.
Good morning, MJ. Good morning, everyone. When you mentioned that, 60 years combined, I just kind of go, oh my gosh, it keeps creeping up.
Yes, but we're getting younger. And good morning, everyone, and welcome to our call this morning. We're really excited about today's presentation as we have our Chief Heart Officer joining us to share some just wonderful stories. And to be the Rejuvenation company, it's no small claim. There's so much hype out there today about stem cells and anti-aging, and it's all the rage in conventional medicine and alternative medicine and nutritional science. But we like to think at TeloYouth Inc., we are a leader in the field of diet and nutrition that deals with how the body can truly rejuvenate. And that's what we're here to show you today. So on this next slide, this is an example of understanding how the structure and function of our systems decline as we age, and especially when there's stress that aging is accelerated. And we don't often see it as an immediate response. It takes time. Our organs over time, degenerate. And so we want to just share with everyone, because of the years it takes to break down all these structures and functions, true rejuvenation, even though it's unheard of in conventional medicine, it can happen, but it also takes time. The body is very resilient, and it develops, in the first 20 years of our lives. And then the aging process starts, and how fast that aging process is depends upon the stress levels that we experience. So to have true rejuvenation, it means everything is improved, and it really benefits your life. Your body's ability to hydrate is improved, to maintain all of your systems, an increase in the number of stem cells to repair and maintain your body. The improvement of your cardiovascular health is, as you'll see in the next slides, for some powerful clinical results that we will share along with our Chief Heart Officer, Bernard. So we'll show you the blood chemistry that, the lipid markers and the changes in blood pressure and the endocrine system. So we see blood sugar regulation, so critical to revealing our metabolic health, the things we've talked about in the past, how 9 out of 10 individuals in the United States have some form of metabolic dysfunction. And then improvements in our pulmonary strength and oxygen exchange. And what that means is that our ability to handle today's health issues with the virus that's highly contagious, and it's attacking our respiratory system. So this is so important to understand how you can take advantage of what TeloYouth does for you and helps you. So Bernard, please join us here on this next slide, and we're going to talk about some of the clinical results that you've gathered over the years with individuals taking TeloYouth. Here's a woman, age 76, and you're seeing the changes that occur in her blood sugars. I'm going to, let's see, adjust something here a second. Okay, great. So first look at our lipid panel, cholesterol, overall cholesterol, just after 9 months went from 271 down to 185. Triglycerides, that's another form of fat that forms in the blood, but usually it's from carbohydrate consumption. Too many carbohydrates in the diet, and just after 9 months went from 296 down to 160. Bernard, can you share with us, did this individual do anything different other than taking TeloYouth? What did you gather from these situations?
So her name is Candice, and she was a retired nurse. She worked at the cancer center for about 45 years something. And so when she first started taking TeloYouth, about within first 3 months, she came back sharing that she always had her stomach was not strong, so she had a digestion issue, and then her bowel movement was not good, and she had some knee pain, and she came back like, I started sleeping so much better, and my digestion and bowel movement got so much better. So she got very excited. And then after 3 months, she said, her knee pain is gone. And then for about almost like 6 months, she didn't mention anything. And then one day she came back to our center with very excited voice, and she started sharing all this data because she never expected this kind of dramatic changes, even though we did tell you this, if she goes through rejuvenation program, which is taking 8 in the morning, 8 before dinner, like in consistent base, about generally speaking, about 9 to 12 months, people, have this kind of experiences. So, and when she actually, she went to hospital and got these numbers, and she got very surprised and excited and just brought this to us. So according to what she said she didn't change any diet or exercise habit at all. Only thing she did was just take TeloYouth.
Her age is 76.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's so powerful to see that, the bad fats, the LDLs went down, and the good fats stayed high, and just her overall lipid panel changed. But you're sharing her whole digestive process, all her situation shifted, and she had more energy, more vitality.
Go ahead. Yeah, last Saturday when I told people that if people ask you that will TeloYouth help me with my health, I said that's a wrong question. The right question is how many capsules should I take and how long would it take? So it's a matter of like which program you go through. It always helps, and this is the fact. I didn't just, I'm not just sharing this, just several cases to show people just hope. I'm sharing this with you because I'm just getting this data all the time from people, because we have gathered this data for the past like 3-4 years. And we see this pattern all the time. People go through rejuvenation program. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next clinical here. Wow. So here's another lady, age 75, and you see again the lipid panel changes. So her body's ability to just handle her food, to handle stress. All of this is indicative, especially when you see the cholesterol shift from a high marker where a doctor would want to put her on some medication when it's at 269, and then after 12 months goes down to 174. Again, the triglycerides, the ability to handle her carbohydrates will show, blood sugar regulation and good pancreatic and liver function. HDL went up, LDL went down, all just what you see in a healthy person. That's what you want. You want the good HDLs to be higher and the LDLs to get lower. So another wonderful lipid panel. Do you have any more insights with Key here in her story?
Actually, I do, because her story is true. Life-changing transformation story. Because when I first met her, which is like 2017, like September time, around September, she had so many health issues. So these numbers, cholesterol, like this, she never expected. She started because she had like severe like shoulder pain. Her doctor told her that she overused her muscles. So she has very thin arm and shoulder, yet she overused them. So her shoulder muscles and ligaments are damaged. So she was at the point that she couldn't turn on her car engine because it's so painful. She couldn't lift her arm above her like belly. So she couldn't take a shower by herself. So she was and that's just one thing. And okay, she also had she took some like oriental like herb as a medication from some acupuncturist, and it severely damaged her liver, which was about 30 years ago. And from that moment, she had a lot of eye issues and having lightnings and gradually losing sight and yeah, things like that. So she had a stop digestion issues and many other issues. And within about 3 months, so she started having these great changes in her eyesight and improvements first, and then she went through like severe retracing for the past 2 years, but now she can lift both her arms, left and right. She can take a shower. And actually she had to take a steroid shot on her like shoulder bone because it was too painful. But according to her, it only helped her relieve the pain just 3 days. So the pain came back. And after she started taking TeloYouth, what was interesting was her body will start pushing out all the steroid toxins through her skin on her arms. So we actually have that picture. So body was pushing out all the toxins, and then gradually she started recovering her like shoulder muscles and ligaments and things like that. So and then at some point she just went to hospital and then got these numbers and brought them to me. And this is only one of the dozen. Oh yeah, she also yesterday she also shared that she always had stomach issues, so she never was able to have a spicy food all her life. And yesterday she told me that nowadays she has kimchi and a lot of spicy food, but no problem at all. So I mean she has tons of stories. But I mean today we are talking about cholesterol, triglyceride, and HDL went up like 10. She was very excited about that too.
Yeah,
so.
Very good. Wow, just great story. And this next one, I just need for you to talk about it, because when you see an organ regenerate like the kidneys, this is dramatic. I know Daniel's story was he's on the verge of getting dialysis or kidney replacement, and he was just after 4 months saw an improvement. Can you tell us a little bit more about what the doctor told Daniel as far as his situation?
Yeah, Daniel was 80 years old, and he has had a diabetes problem for whole his life, over than 30 years. And his doctor told him that your kidney function is is dropping like just rapidly fast, and you have to start dialysis soon. And right after that, she started taking a product. And after 4 months, he's actually a pastor, missionary. His wife just came back to us with this data. She got very excited and sharing that after 4 months, like his kidney functions did not drop. Actually, it went up from 42 to 48. So they were very happy about it, and his doctor was very surprised too.
So the wife noticed his changes and his improvement, right? So I'm sure it even affected his blood sugar and helped his diabetes. So did you?
Actually, his wife also, she brought her documents too, her blood sugar levels, blood pressure levels, and everything, and even her eyesight. We have actually, today we don't show it here, but we have a lot of data that people over 60s or 70s, their eyesight has improved. So, you know, they brought the result back. So they had to change their glasses. So if this happened to you, any of you, I mean, just, you know, this is normal. If you do rejuvenation program, this is normal. This will happen to you.
Wow. Wonderful, wonderful. And we've got one more here. I mean, you've got so many in the files. This is great. You can just pick and grab these wonderful stories. So here we have Sharon. She's 68 years old. And she has had a chronic degenerative state for years. You see the lab tests go back for 2010. And then, so after 10 months on the rejuvenation program, you're seeing these wonderful changes that were measured here. And hemoglobin, again, her good blood count maintained. So you're seeing the changes in cholesterol, dramatic shift, you know, from the 250s, 230s there down to 152. LDL, again, going way down, and the triglycerides going way down, showing the blood sugar improvements. And then here's the TSH. That's a thyroid marker. That's a pituitary hormone. That's thyroid stimulating hormone that comes from the pituitary. And when it's high, it's telling you that the body is pushing the thyroid to work harder because it's not doing enough. And that stress on her thyroid came way down, because you see the thyroid stimulating hormone, the TSH, went down to 1.84. That is so powerful. And Bernard, before you get on, I just want to give some background to everyone that's on today and listening to our presentation, is that the ability for the body to eliminate toxins largely depends on the strength of our endocrine glands, you know, especially our thyroid and our adrenals. So when the thyroid is strongest, we expect elimination to take place through the skin, either through the outside of the skin or the inside, the mucous membrane. And that's what we saw with Key. Key saw that her skin really changed. The elimination started coming out of her skin. So that showed that her thyroid is the strongest endocrine gland there to help with the elimination. So that's dramatic. And then if it's the adrenals, if they predominate, then the elimination usually occurs through the bowels and the kidneys. So we were able to help Daniel, you know, his kidneys improved. So we see that the adrenals were enhanced and his kidneys were able to regenerate, and the toxic materials, they can get burned up through hyperoxidation through the liver, you know, because we know that's the major gland for processing toxins. But that adrenal response often will elevate the body's temperature. So this is why people can experience fever with the detoxification, or else night sweats. That's another way that you'll experience the adrenal function as far as facilitating this detoxification. But what's key here, what brought this up for me to explain, is that you see Sharon's TSH change the way it did. This is dramatic for her body's ability to just regain its resiliency, its ability to stay strong and deal with stress. Can you, Dr. Tina, can we look at these lab results and then we can read so much more into them. So I'm so glad we could share this today. Can you talk a little bit more about just the whole rejuvenation process?
Absolutely. Oh, I'm just so excited. So a couple of things here with Sharon. Bernard is talking about sharing photos. A couple points here, guys. Just know that she has not, when he shares these photos, her before and afters, she did not have our TeloYouth serum, which is like a laser beam focus to focus on the skin. So she did true rejuvenation from the inside out. When you look at 2010, 10 years ago, and you look at her numbers, and you look at it, in 8 years later, and her numbers after taking TeloYouth for 10 months, you see it's true rejuvenation. The numbers don't lie. So what in the world happened? When she took TeloYouth, she was able to increase all of these people that we've shared this morning. They were able to increase their circulating stem cells. In other words, when we age, our stem cells are 1 in 2 million. They're not activated. They're lazy. They don't go to work because the stressors, the signal molecules that we lose over time declines rapidly. So I love this visual of the building when we're young, a newborn or a teenager. You look at how many circulating or available, stem cells are going throughout the body. And we have this healthy building. And over time, it degenerates. In other words, we have all the materials when we're younger to have this healthy building, and it's maintained with very, very little effort. And then all of these stressors happen over time, and you can see it's like the maintenance crew has to increase. However, how does that happen? Well, taking TeloYouth, we introduce that fertilized tissue extract, which is such a missing ingredient in so many formulas out there. And it's focused on rejuvenation, not anti-aging, which is about reversing the body's stressors, bringing those imbalances back to balance. And as we age, we have the challenge of our mitochondrial function declining as well. That's our energy centers in our cells. And you can see the correlation when our energy declines, our stem cell, they decline, our stressors increase. And so one of the key factors that we introduce into the body with TeloYouth is to help reduce the stressors. So when we were looking at high cortisol, and we were looking at when it's too high, we know that there's a real imbalance with our hormones, because we need to have cholesterol. We need to have cholesterol for healthy endocrine function. We have to have that for a good hormone balance. But when we have accelerated stress, our cholesterol is not utilized in a proper way by the body. So our adrenals increase, our cortisols increase, our cholesterol doesn't get utilized well, and it starts circulating through the blood, and that's how we end up with high cholesterol. And this is a very basic way to explain it. There's a lot more complexity with this. But what happens is we become inflamed with these high cortisols. By introducing TeloYouth back into the body, what we can do is we can help bring down those cortisols, those unhealthy hormones when they're way too high, bring them back to balance. And then the other hormones can come back into balance, and our cholesterols can be used in a healthy way. Dr. Chris, do you have anything you want to add here?
Just that this information, again, is from clinicals that we've received and are able to do these charts. So it just shows these are real results that are measured scientifically and clinically.
Thank you. So what are some of the symptoms of metabolic dysfunction? And that's where we're talking about, high cholesterol, imbalanced blood sugars. There's high blood pressure, headaches. There could be cold or flu-like symptoms, gassy or bloating, fatigue, low energy. That is something that is real common with metabolic dysfunction. Strange pains, excessive thirst. If you know somebody that is always thirsty, they just can't drink enough water or get enough fluids into them, that is a real good sign of metabolic dysfunction. Having skin rashes or constipation or runny stools, foggy brain, lightheadedness, all of these are related to that metabolic dysfunction. So when we have somebody that takes TeloYouth that is dealing with some of the case studies that we've shown you this morning, a lot of these things are going to go away. They're going to be eliminated from the body and they will come back into balance.
All right. You know, this next slide, we really want to show that this is a 21st century invisible threat that's happening to us. And this is one of the areas that Dr. Tina and I wanted to enhance the formula with, and why we tweaked it a bit just to add the chaga mushroom and all of this stress that comes from the electromagnetic fields takes us out of our circadian rhythms. It throws off all our body clocks. And so we tried to explain how important the endocrine glands are, and all these glands that regulate our systems in our body. You know, we have all these clocks within clocks, and it impacts our sleep and our neurotransmitter expression and our energy and moods and emotions. So this all leads to eventual physical breakdown. And we wanted just to help you see how we're impacting this area. And really taking TeloYouth protects you from today's new stressor that is impacting us all, that we can't get away from. You know, our computers, our high definition televisions, and our cell phones. We're not going to give those up. So we got to find a way to protect ourselves. Dr. Tina.
Very good. And it's invisible. You know, we have people that are very sensitive to these, and they can feel and sense these frequencies. Little ones are actually very sensitive to these because they're so in their bodies. And so it's real interesting to see how people respond to this 5G. And I like to explain it as, you know, it's an 8-lane highway without speed limits, whereas the 4G was like a 2-lane highway. So we're being bombarded, and we need to be aware of this.
Accelerated aging.
Mm-hmm.
And this next slide is just really to help everyone out there to share that, get on our calls and attend our meetings. We're here to help educate you, help you understand how the body works, because, you know, so much of what we're dealing with in today's culture with our medical system and our healthcare programs just don't help us understand how we can best support ourselves. So we wanted to help you understand how the body works, and the 3 genetic paradigms that exist, not just the genes you get from your parents, but the mitochondrial genes for our energy. And then you have the whole microbiome, and 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your gut. And this is so important to understand, and why we talk to you about diet and lifestyle, because your GI tract impacts how you digest not just how you digest your food, but your microbiome makes vitamins for you. It makes essential amino acids so that you can build back your tissue integrity. Key fatty acids that the mitochondria use for energy and facilitate our immune function. The microbiome actually educates our immune system. Very few people realize that. So you're training your immune system from the very beginning as a child, how you're going to respond to your environment. And so this healthy microbiome reduces the risk of disease. We know, studying people with metabolic imbalances, with obesity, they have less of a diverse microbiome. So we tell you about how important it is to, you know, work with fermented foods in your diet and improve, you know, the microbiome's ability to support you and keep you healthy. And it's just not a probiotic supplement. We're talking about taking the right kind of foods that facilitate your microbiome, because it's just not 5 or 6 microorganisms. We're talking trillions of cells, and each one of us has a very unique microbiome. And I don't know if any of you caught 60 Minutes this last Sunday. They did a whole presentation on the importance of the microbiome and how conventional medicine is really researching it and helping people understand how they can stay healthy with a healthy microbiome. Dr. Tina, anything to add there?
Yeah, I wasn't real happy about that presentation that they did on 60 Minutes, because I think it was a little one-sided. However, that's my humble opinion. One thing to do that I think that will help all of you, and just think of it this way: eat the foods of the rainbow. And if you can think of on your plate having every different color that you possibly can at least once a day, whether it's good fruits and veggies, that's going to help you create a very diverse microbiome. And you mentioned earlier, Dr. Chris, diversity, and that's what's key. Diversity. We get so stuck in eating the same things over and over and over, and we need to eat different foods to create more diverse, good bacteria in the gut.
All right. So we share this slide with you a lot, but now I think you can. So now you can understand a little bit more how TeloYouth works. It's just so fantastic with the ability to helping you detoxify and reestablish the communication that goes on throughout all the cells, so that you take the aloe vera gel extract, the chaga, the rhodiola rosea, helps with the stem cell release by triggering, the stem cell production and release out of the bones. And then the marine collagen just facilitates the overall tissue integrity, just not the strong bones, but the strong cellular glue that's needed to keep the body so strong. And you see improvements in the skin. The wrinkles go away because the collagen rebuilds itself underneath the skin. And then, of course, the stem cell activation that Dr. Tina mentioned earlier with the fertilized tissue extract and the L-arginine, so key, and the ability to reduce stress with these ingredients just speaks volumes in our ability to rejuvenate. Anything you'd like to add, Dr. Tina?
No, good job.
Well, picture's worth 1,000 words here. Absolutely.
I love her and these photos. She did such a great job. And these are untouched. So on day one of our members took a photo, and this is before she started her TeloYouth, and she did not do anything else on her skin. She took TeloYouth. This is true rejuvenation from the inside out. On day 90, this is the rejuvenation program, as Bernard mentioned earlier. The question is, does it work? That's not the right question. It's how much should I take and how long should I do this in order to rejuvenate my body? And day 90, she was taking 8 in the morning and 8 in the afternoon or before dinner. And so 16 capsules a day. She truly jump-started her system from the inside out. And when you have healthy organs and glands and systems, you radiate it on the outside. And so this is just fantastic. She had low energy, she had depression, and she had knee pain, all of that dissipated. So we can just say that it truly, truly works.
Fantastic. Well, as we wrap things up here, we just need to remind everyone, these calls are for educational purposes only. We really would like for you to invite your family and friends to learn more about how their body works. And if there's any health issues that they have, make sure that they stay plugged in and work directly with their health care provider, their doctor, and just stay plugged into our educational calls to help you understand how to get younger with our rejuvenation program and wellness programs. And Bernard, thank you so much for joining us today and helping us. And Dr. Tina, anything else before we turn it over to MJ?
No, it's fantastic. And I just really appreciate, Bernard, you collecting all the data and for all of the wonderful people that allowed you to be able to use their data. It's truly remarkable.